introspection. This will be the title of this reflection. I suppose you can't really not see yourself here. It's impossible. You see your actions, you see the reactions of the people around you. You see causes and consequences, and if you choose to do that unconsciously, it's very forceful. You might get lucky, yeah, but normally, yeah, it'll result in a lot of friction with life. Or sometimes a dormant acceptance of a status quo, internally, externally, that leads to comfortable flatline. Yeah, that is also possible. Enough entertainment, enough distraction, enough cushioning from the sharp edges through financial security or a sense of importance through your status. I don't know. But the case is that for some of us that is a conscious choice. I need to transcend that way of seeing myself through the external repercussions of my actions and the reactions that I provoke, and a certain sense of just walking through the practicalities of life. And I want to look at my internal environment and study it, and I want to study my interaction with life and the possibility of existence, which my intuition seems to continuously validate, of more than what I seem to be, than just this human being that is talking to you through a mouth. So we resource to thinking. And I think maybe the first characteristic of this internal introspection, exploration, is that the thinking becomes reflective. There is not just blah blah. Thinking begins to include thinking itself. That when you go through a subject in your life, when I go through a conversation that I've had with someone, when I reflect on politics or I don't know what to do with my job or my relationships, I think, and I think a lot. But I look at the thinking itself. I look at the patterns that the thinking carries. I try to see if I am getting stuck in my own spider web of almost invisible beliefs that push your thinking through a certain labyrinthic channel, and you don't realize that you are doing that all the time. So thinking reflectively for an intronaut includes thinking itself, the analyze of the thinking patterns and where is thought coming from and what degree of creative agency we have over our own thoughts and how much of them is karma originated, yeah? Which opens a whole internal debate about the existence and the understanding of what free will is. At the level of thought, maybe is the place that you actually can see it more incipiently, yeah, the very beginning. So thought is there. And then we have feeling. So we have the interaction with the world, the reception of information through the senses and all that, and our actions. We have thought, and then we have this sphere of feeling. And feeling intermingles with thought very quickly, creating ripples, strong waves of emotion. But if one finds a certain still point to feel those winds, or let's say joyfully at times surf those waves and not get crushed by them. If one develops a relationship, a creative, active relationship to the emotional landscape where I don't feel only like a victim, I will feel like a victim, I do often, but not only. That even with victimhood, I can design my own little exit games. Not exit, like someone throws at you victimism. In this case, I throw it at myself. But that it becomes a little toy that I can play with to understand what victimism is. I suppose in this is that we have an emotional life where we are fully aware that swimming through it is part of what life is. So there is no resistance to the fact that it is so. Yeah. I think that kind of started like a different kind of thought and it's evolving as I say it. Yeah. So that points to a particular type of mind, yeah, that is equanimously observing what happens, and that is that flavor of meditation, that flavor of being present, fully living what I'm living, but the living it being as important, maybe more important, than us taking it towards what I want it to be. Does it make any sense? If I impose my desires very early on into what I'm feeling, it's very difficult to understand it. So there is a type of reception to experience that we are seeking with in meditation, where I soften the reception, I let life, thought, people touch me, and there is not an immediate reaction, but instead there is a reception. And within that reception, a seeking for understanding. That is very easy when the event is pleasant, but when it's unpleasant, a softening to the reception of the unpleasant. So that it can expand us. And then you are actively involved in the life of your thoughts, and you're actively involved in the life of your feelings. By extension, you are actively involved in your interaction with life, and that includes all spheres. It will include your body, it will include your livelihood, it will include your relationships, it will include the place you live, everything. It includes everything. And then following each one of them, we find different things that hook onto us, that become branches of this central trunk of wanting to know. And then you get interested in martial arts, or in permaculture, or in Reiki, or in cryptocurrency, or in ayahuasca ceremonies, or in, Plato. Sacred geometry, plasma portals. You get interested in investigating the different layers of the political system and the financial system and what the hell is going on in there. You get interested in the ancient sacred texts and lineages, and you study Buddhism or Taoism, shamanism, and you develop these techniques and these tools. But in your heart, you know you're a spiritual nomad. You know that we didn't grow up in a tribe. We didn't grow up in a beautiful Amazonian traditional village. We didn't grow up in a, monastery in Tibet. We grew up in cities all over the place. We moved about. We live often far away from the small families that we came from, families that often are already broken. And we find each other along the way, and we hold on to beautiful people and relationships, and sometimes finally we find a place to stay. But it's unrealistic to expect that you are going to, all of us at least, find refuge in a particular guru, in a particular teacher, in a particular method, or in a particular technique or tool, or so you have to rely on the sincerity of your desire to make your spiritual life beautiful, to make it shine through every corner of your life, to turn your life into a living ceremony, to turn your life into an art piece. That's what I'm trying, at least. Yeah. The art of introspection. Yeah. How to live life from the inside out, and how to make sense of how incredibly beautiful and how incredibly painful and how incredibly confusing, how much life is. We without letting, all the scratches take the best of us. We try. We try.